When you're doing a competitive, Kevin, when you're doing a competitive rebuild in the NFC North, obviously you're looking long-term, short-term. How much of a target, a goal do you put on what Aaron Rodgers, Packers are doing, and then Matt LaFleur is now he's the old grizzled guy of the division.
Yeah, I think obviously they have the results have really spoke for themselves and the success that those guys have had, and I got so much respect for obviously Aaron as a player and a leader of that organization for a really long time, and I have a relationship with Matt that like a lot of guys that have coached with Sean, we come from a similar foundation, but I think it's just something where we work every single day to be the best version of ourselves as the Minnesota Vikings, and we know everybody in our division is doing the same thing. So we don't get any credit for trying. We don't get any credit, for showing up every day and thinking, ultimately we're, any ahead of any team in our division. But what I do know is we've got a great plan to be the best version of this team when we break camp, and it just so happens that we open up with a great division opponent at home that we're really excited about. But we got a lot of work to do before we feel like we've earned the right to go into that game with the confidence I think we'll have.
How's it change your relationship with Matt?
It doesn't. I mean, we've coached against each other before, and it doesn't at this point.
Hey, Kevin, you spoke in the spring just about not wanting to take this unnecessary risks when it came to the physicality part. With the 9 or so padded practices you got here, what's your philosophy on approaching those? Is it going to be kind of full go and not any jog through speeds?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's something I've thought long and hard about, but in my opinion, you guys will hear me say this phrase a couple times: when we're going, we got to go. And we'll do our due diligence through the whole month of the volume of work we put in, but when we put those pads on, it's just not that many opportunities. So to prepare your team and for our individual players, individual phases of offense, defense, and special teams to feel prepared, there's no other way than to go full, compete, good on good. We'll do plenty of that work, as well as the situational emphasis that we've got planned out through the whole camp. It's all built on making sure by the time we cut our roster down to 53, we're ready to get in preparation mode for our first opponent.
Kevin, other than the 2 guys obviously already put on the pup list, anybody else you think might not start fall in training camp?
Nope. Obviously those 2 guys, Ryan and Blake, will start on the pup, and we'll treat their circumstances day by day, and everyone else, it's the same thing, and we're constantly going to be managing, making sure for those, I believe by my count, there's 11 padded practice opportunities, and including a couple of opportunities to joint practice with the 49ers, which will be huge for our team. But when we have those days, the goal will be to have as many of our guys up and ready to roll.
So Amir Smith-Marsetti's looking okay?
He's looking great. He's another guy. In addition to Irv, I should single out just because, and Johnny Munt was another guy. But just thinking about yesterday, you walk out on the field and you see these guys that, you can't fake it. You can't fake it when, they were challenged. A lot of those guys when we left here 5-6 weeks ago, and then to hear the progress throughout the summer, but then to see it, I'm really excited about the work those guys put in.
Kevin, you're going through especially the padded practices, how much weight do you put on those as an evaluation tool as you guys are sitting down to make roster decisions towards the end of August?
Yeah, we have to evaluate everything. We're really not in the mode now. Like I said, I told our team at the end of the spring, the competition phase will start, and that goes for really every guy on our roster. We want those guys feeling those situations. Sometimes, for an established player, a guy that's a starter on your team, it's the competition with the other side. It's maybe that one-on-one matchup between a Brian O'Neill and Za'Darius Smith. It's how do they push each other by that competition to make themselves better. And like I said, the opportunities in those 11 padded practices are great for our team and our players, but we got to find a way to replicate that, and still take care of one another when maybe we aren't full padded and kind of those full sessions. So every time we step out on the grass from here on out, in my opinion, we've got to have a plan to accomplish real tangible things while we continue to build.
Kevin, when you think about that competition, what do you need to see from rookies to feel comfortable with them maybe getting that shot to make a bid at a starting role?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's surprising them and giving them opportunities before maybe we even see anything, but anything other than the habits in the classroom and the habits studying. You can tell a guy knows what to do. Now we can feel comfortable turning him loose to try to compete in those settings. especially in the 1-versus-1 settings, because ultimately it's something that every young player in this league, especially our rookies, we'll want to see them do. But they'll also get a ton of opportunities side by side with one another, some of our other young players, and each and every one of those guys has an opportunity to really carve out their role. There's really not very many defined things right now. We're still figuring out how we're going to deploy our personnel, and our team will decide that. Our players will decide that based upon a lot of different factors. But ultimately, those rookies and our veterans, every single day, the opportunities we give them, we're really mixing and matching and really seeing a lot of different ways that we could ultimately be in an attack mode football team in all 3